I don't believe in quitting social media completely. And this is coming from someone that has gone on multiple social media detoxes. I have also documented the process right here on my channel. However, quitting social media completely may not be a practical long-term solution, especially because of the generation that we currently live in, where social media is like the modern day marketplace. You can do business online. In fact, if you want to scale your businesses these days, you actually need social media. So quitting social media completely is not really practical, but let me tell you what is. Using social media with purpose. So I'll give you an example. So for someone like me that I used to be like an avid movie and series binging junkie, and I've spoken about it in this video right here. When I stopped watching and binging series and movies in an unhealthy manner, I had to replace that habit with something more productive, which then led to an increased use of YouTube. And in the beginning, I used YouTube for entertainment purposes. So it's like I'm not watching movies anymore, but I'm still watching like vlogs on YouTube and movies on YouTube, because there are also movies on YouTube. And then I just kept on I just continued using it however I chose to. But when I started going on these social media detoxes, I realized that those things I felt like I needed to rely on for entertainment, I didn't need to as much. Instead, they were just keeping me addicted. So how does this apply to you? If it has ever happened to you that you've gone online and then after some time you realize that you've spent a couple of hours online and you were shocked, like, oh my God, the day is gone. If that sounds like you, then that could point to a social media addiction. And the problem with addictions is very simple. Christ did not die to free you just for you to be a slave to something else. As believers, it is imperative that we are in control of our time, that we're in control of our resources, that we are in control of everything, and that we don't just let things happen to us, but that we are intentionally doing things the way that we choose to do those things. So the question begs, what do you do when you find out that you are addicted to social media? You would have to go off completely for at least 30 days, because that is exactly how long it takes for your brain to return to a balanced level and to not depend on that thing as much. So going off of that thing completely for 30 days kills that compulsive need or addiction on social media. When you stay off of it for 30 days, you're basically telling your brain, I do not need this thing to survive. I am putting it under me. I'm not a slave to this thing. I can control myself, and I have the ability to tell myself when to use it and when not to use it. So it's basically a form of reclaiming back your power and also telling your brain who is boss. And then the icing on top of the cake is that you now become aware that you do not need that thing to survive. So when you have completely killed your dependence from that thing, the next step is that when you come back, you reconstruct your algorithm. Now, every social media platform has an algorithm. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it, they all have algorithms. And algorithms basically help with user experience. It helps tailor the content that you get to you, the user, based on your needs or your preferences, the things you watch, the things you search for, and so on and so forth. So what does reconstructing your algorithm do? This helps you control your use of social media such that it doesn't leave you an addicted mess again. And so that even if you are addicted, you're not addicted to the negative parts of social media. What does reconstructing your algorithm look like? So for me, for example, I did multiple social media detoxes last year. And then when I came back, it was very easy to go back to the loop of things. But then God told me, reconstruct your algorithm. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So what I did was I started training my algorithm to show me things that will help my life, that will actually benefit me, and that would help in my overall growth and personal development. So for me, that meant that I started intentionally searching for sermons, watching sermons online, searching for educational content, watching as much of it as possible. And I'm talking about YouTube now. So because the algorithm noticed, oh, this girl is is always watching educational content, social media marketing. She's always watching sermons. YouTube started recommending those videos to me on my homepage anytime I go on YouTube. So the advantage of that was that when I would go online, the videos that would be recommended to me are videos that basically was helping me learn something or helping my spiritual life in some way. And then I noticed that started training my brain to find educational content entertaining and to find sermons and Christian content entertaining, because that was all I was exposed to on my algorithm anytime I opened that social media platform. The reason this is so important is because a lot of people would say, oh, I'm addicted to my phone. I use my phone too much. Or I'm addicted to social media. I use social media too much. And I'm not an advocate for excessive use of a thing. But I would always ask, when you use your phone, where does your time go to on that phone? So for example, when I was on my social media detoxes, I noticed that I was still spending time on my phone, but the top apps that I would use are like my notes app, my Bible app, my maybe PowerPoint app or something like that. But they were just more productive things. So I didn't stop using my phone entirely, but I was using it for a more beneficial purpose. In the same way with social media, if I see that my screen time, for example, is 5 hours or 6 hours, I'm going to ask myself, what was I doing on social media within those 6 hours? If I spent those 6 hours learning things that would improve my spiritual life, learning things that would improve my knowledge on a particular topic or field or whatever, then that automatically means that those were not wasted 10 hours. Those were invested 10 hours. And that means I used it with purpose. When you're on social media, there are 3 major types of content you will find: educational content, inspirational content, or entertaining content. I'm not saying that you're not meant to use social media for entertainment purposes, but like I said, me stopping Netflix only to come on social media to spend a bunch of my time on the same things I was leaving did not make sense to me. However, that does not mean I do not have any entertainment creators that I follow. I follow a couple of them. However, they're not as much as the other creators that I follow to help the algorithm understand what my priorities are. My personal recommendation would be that if you're using social media for entertainment purposes, that you ensure that you give yourself a time limit. Let's say you've done your work for the day, and that you also give it purpose. So for example, it wouldn't make sense for you to wake up as a Christian, you've not spent time with God, and you're just scrolling mindlessly on social media. Like, how does that help you? However, if, for example, you wake up and you get some work done, you spend time with God, and then you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to go online to reward myself for my job well done, for, starting my day right. I'm going to go online. I'm going to scroll on social media. But I'm going to do this for 15 minutes or 1 hour. That is using it with purpose and with moderation and with intention, which will help prevent future addictions. Another good example is the experience I had with one of my clients. So I host this challenge called the Reset Fast Group Challenge, where I basically coach believers like yourself to break bad habits, build good habits, build self-discipline, improve their relationship with God, and ultimately launch into purpose. So in one of the group challenges that I held last year under the Reset Fast, I noticed that I would recommend, for example, to someone that maybe was struggling with time management or focus or prioritizing, I would challenge them and I would recommend that they would go off of social media or fast from whatever it was that they were addicted to for a period of 30 days. So for social media specifically, when I would tell the person to fast from it and then I would tell them to send in their reports at the end of the week, I found that there were some times that 1 or 2 of them would actually go back on social media to follow a Bible study that they had missed. Now, whenever that would happen, I would tell that client, that is not a problem. The reason that wasn't a problem is because you're training your brain to finally start using this thing with purpose and not to abuse it. You're not just going on Instagram to waste your time or to mindlessly scroll, but you're going there with purpose that I'm going to log onto this page and join in their Bible study. And after that Bible study is done, I'm going to leave. Now, that simple act of intention is going to train your brain to understand that I'm not just going on social media for going sake. I have a reason why I'm going there. I will go there and I will achieve that purpose, and then I will leave because I'm not a slave to this app. You can apply these tips to TikTok, to every other social media platform. This is not the year to spend hours and hours wasting on social media without reason. This year, let's be more intentional with our time. How we begin to do that is to take back control of our social media pages by implementing all these tips that I've spoken about in this video. If you are interested in joining the challenge that I spoke about earlier, the Reset Fast group challenge, kindly click on the link in the pinned comments below to register. I cannot take more than 10 people per time for now, so if you are interested, quickly register before the slots are filled up. If you got any value from this video, kindly give this video a thumbs up. That means like this video. And if you've not yet subscribed, kindly click on that subscribe button. And you can also check out this video right here. See you there.